All right, so good evening once again. So like I indicated earlier, you've been put into this pool to be trained to become experts when it comes to research. And in research, I'm referring to how to develop the expertise in research so that you can become an expert on your own, and or you can also create some sort of value for yourself. And the essence of putting this team together was, even though we want to create this pool, but what triggered this was when I posted on social media that I was doing free training, and I had very top professors who looked at the content and they were marveled, and to the extent that I had someone from KUST, one professor, who called me and asked me, David, do you have somebody with this competence? Then I said, yeah, I have someone like that. I said, can that person be given a contract to do publication for me? And I'm going to pay the person upfront 1 year the allowance or whatever the person is going to charge, only if the person is able to produce at least two articles a month for a fee. So then I recommended that person to the team, to this man. And then it turned out that he really wanted that person to move to Kumasi and all that. So to cut long story short, it became necessary. I then got the idea that, okay, even this person is asking to do this. I had trained this lady for the past, let me say, and I was somewhere 2020. So we started this thing somewhere 2016. So I've trained this person for the past since 2016, and we started with very usual research methods and all that, review of literature. And then now this lady, for the past 5 or 6 years, I've been able to review close to about 15 PhDs. And these PhDs are PhDs that, I mean, came with, let me put it, an A, all right? And these PhD students were marveled if they see her. And in some instances, she did not see these people face to face. I gave her some work to do for another PhD guy at ATI. And then the guy called me and said that this lady is just unbelievable, because she ended up really writing part of the thesis for the guy. And then recently what happened was that there was this master's thesis that I asked her to look at it, and she did it. And the guy, when they marked the thesis, the guy had, I think, 82 or so. And then she called me to tell me that was the mark. And I said that I was disappointed because since we are doing PhD, and your PhD thesis that you review, you get 80, 85 and all that. I was expecting that you should get a higher mark. But just to tell you that that skill set these people were looking for, we don't have it, right? We don't have it. And so it became necessary that I put a team together. So there are two things we are looking at here. I'm looking for those who are hungry to learn and also train them to become experts. And there are two things. The purpose of you being trained is to create a pool of experts that we are going to use to do very crazy things. And one of the things that we will do is to create value for ourselves. Okay, and this value creation means that we will end up monetizing whatever we do. In other words, we are creating wealth for ourselves through research. And if you are that type who really want to make money, then what you have to do is the next 6-7 months to a year, you should close your mind and then begin to acquire the skill. Because what we are going to go through, you will never find it anywhere, not even in YouTube. And which is why when I put this thing together, it marveled that professor who called me, because he said that was what they were looking for. So you'll be able to, if you're able to go through this, it will get to the point where you can, as it were, do a paper in a day, do a Scopus index paper or Web of Science index paper in a day. And currently that is what I'm doing. So to the extent that a PhD thesis could be done in 1 month, right? A 4 years PhD thesis could be done in a month. Once I have my data, I can do the desktop work in 1 month. So once it gets to that stage, then it means that you are really becoming, a very good expert, and that is really going to fetch you a lot of money. So that's the essence of this whole thing. And the reason why I'm crazy about this is that when people say that they don't have money, I have a problem with this. Today, I was sharing the same thing as when I went to the school. I was asking the lecturers, but why are you saying you don't have money when you can create content for yourself and make money out of it, right? You can just create content and make money out of it. And people have not realized that kind of potential in making money in research, all right? Or even in creating some sort of expertise for yourself and making money out of it. And just to let you know, whatever we are doing on Earth, whatever you see us doing, whether it's skyscrapers, whether it's aeroplanes, whether it's now they are doing a miniature human being using AI and big data analytics, robots that has human support systems, and we have decision support systems and all that. These devices that are created, robots that are created, are all as a result of research. That is all. They are all as a result of research. Okay, and research rules the world. So when you find yourself in that area and you're an expert in that area, that means that already you are rich. And then data is everything. Now, data is more expensive than oil. Data is more expensive than anything. I mean, than gold, silver, name them. Data drives the world. So if you are in that such position, it gives you that leverage. Quite an hour ago, whilst I was driving home, some of these politicians, someone sent me a data set. In fact, from both parties, one sent me from another person also, and they want me to do a kind of trend analysis for them. And they are going to pay for that, constituency by constituency, just because they know that, Boison is an expert in that area. And I didn't build this expertise through my PhD program. No. No one taught me these expertise. What I was taught in class was actually, that doesn't actually reflect what I'm doing. But I sat down and decided that this is a gap that we are having and that I need to fill this gap. So this is self-study that I've got me this way. So if I'm doing this training and you're getting this thing cool on a silver platter, you would have to be 10 times than who I am today. You should be able to do more of the things that I'm doing. And then you should be able to get to the point that, I mean, you don't need to consult anyone. You do things for yourself. And when you get to that point, it is just game over. So the next 1 year, we'll be doing this. The first thing that I want us to focus on will be the 48 papers that we are to produce for an NGO with a prof in Kumasi. It said the list is 48 papers, all right? And the 48 papers, of course, the more papers we produce, the more money you will get, the more allowance you get. But the focus is even not on the allowance for now, because it is the knowledge that you are creating for yourself. So he gave us 48. So what I said was that if it is 48, then let's make it times 2. Okay, times 2. Maybe that will work. And times 2, we are talking about what? 96 papers. And let me draw your attention to something. In academia, to become a senior lecturer in some institution, you need 6 papers. Okay. After the 6 papers, to become an ASO prof, that is 10 papers. So 10 plus 6 is 16. And to become a prof is 15 papers. Okay, a full professor. So 16 plus 15 is what? 21. Can you imagine? You need only 21 papers to become a prof. Of course, there are the number of years of experience that should be added. But the fact is this: if you are producing 96 papers in a year, it should tell you where you find yourself already. If you are producing 96 or even 48 papers in a year, because this is 21, it should tell you where you belong. Okay. And that is why we are doing, I mean, this. So I just want to draw your attention to it, that it is not something that should be toyed with. You should be hungry for knowledge. And anytime you see a work is being done, you want to join and all that. So that is about the purpose of this whole thing. And I will be writing papers using this kind of criteria. Okay, this is a paper I reviewed for one of the journals. And I'll be preparing, the next meeting, I'll be preparing practical lessons on this. I just want to take you through this so that you have an appreciation. For Scopus Index Journal, they are looking at originality, okay, of the plan. Originality here means they say, does the paper contain new and significant information adequate to justify publication? Now, it said new, contain new and significant information. So, for instance, if you are treating a topic that has been treated over time, okay, a number of people have treated this topic over time and there's nothing new in it. You will have heard it over and over again, okay, and then you are dealing with that paper. You have not presented anything new, okay? You have not done anything new. So they will not look at it as something that is original. So how many times have they not treated this subject matter? What is it there to learn? For which reason? Why you are doing this? So that is very, very important. And then 2, relationship to literature. And it says, does the paper demonstrate an adequate understanding of the relevant literature in the field and cite an appropriate range of literature sources? And here is any significant work ignored. So here, the other thing is that if you are dealing with a subject area like artificial intelligence, it is believed that there are known authors in that arena or in that area. And you are expected that you cite relevant literature related to that. Now, they are saying that relevant literature, okay? There are some literatures that are irrelevant. For instance, you are doing something on AI and then you go and cite some literature in a different discipline. That is not AI. It is not relevant. For every discipline, they are those who command. They are the leading artists. So they are asking Does the paper demonstrate an adequate understanding of the relevant literature in the field and cite an appropriate range of literature? And even the papers that we are citing, if those papers are not Scopus index papers or they are not high index papers, then it becomes an issue. And when we say high index papers, they are not predatory journals. Journals that they are not peer reviewed. You send a paper there and they published. We have been victims of that when we started because we didn't know some of these things. Okay, so you would have to cite relevant literature in that respect. And we're going to go through how to know whether these papers are Scopus index or not, so that we cite the appropriate literature. So they would want to look at it. And in most cases, if you are doing a study, sometimes you also need to look at that particular publication you are sending to, whether you have cited somebody in that journal, okay, somebody who has published in that journal. They would want to look at that. Of course, there's some politics there as well. And then we have methodology. It said that is the paper's argument built on an appropriate base of theory. You see, it mentions theory, appropriate base of theory, concepts, or other ideas. So it could be theory that is more of a quantitative study, could be a concept that you are developing, could be qualitative or mixed, or other ideas. It could be a qualitative study, inductive study from the scratch. And then the question is, has the research or equivalent intellectual work on which the paper is based been well designed? So the research design, has it been designed, and are the method employed appropriately? So let's look at this. Now, your research design, okay, the way the research is designed, how it is developed, okay, has some correlation or relationship with the methods that you use. That is very, very, or even the approach that you're using for your research. So for instance, if your research approach is quantitative, okay, of course, your design will be related to what? A quantitative method, where you will apply statistical means to generate what? Your sample. And where you apply statistical means to what? Do your analysis. So the kind of the design will determine your method of data analysis and whether you are going to the high end or you are not going to the high end. If someone says he's doing maybe correlational study, in your mind, correlational studies is looking at something in the range of normal correlation, either Pearson or Spearman's correlation, or covariance in a case of what structural equation modeling, or the person is looking at ANOVA, okay? ANOVA, which is also in the region of what? A step to what? Regression analysis, or even we'll start with, a test, a t-test, a z-test, ANOVA, okay? ANOVA is analysis of variance, and then they will go to regression. And regression, it could be normal simple regression or linear regression. It could be multiple or multivariance regression. It could be what? Logistic regressions, where you are having more than one dependent variable, okay? Where your outcomes are more than one, where the dependent variable can be male or female, okay? That is that becomes a logistics regression, and in the logistics regression, you are even looking at whether you are doing binomial logistics regression, whether that is two independent variables, or you are doing multinomial, that is more than what? Two, okay? So where your outcomes are more than two is binomial. When they are more than two, multinomial, or you are doing other analysis apart from establishing relationship between dependent or independent variables. There are other statistical tools, like something like the resource bricolage theory, okay? And that one helps you, and with that theory, one of the tools you can use for analysis is the fuzzy set qualitative comparative SWOT analysis. Okay, it's an example of it. And this one, they are not looking at the relationship between dependent or independent variable. They are looking at the interdependency. Okay, regression looks at the relationship. This one looking at interdependency. Other, analysis like general GM is general method of movement, okay, which also looks at the interactions between what the independent variable, rather than looking at the relationship between dependent or independent variable. These are all kind of analysis that you would want to look at. So if you're looking at the research design is linked to the kind of theory you are using, because some theories you cannot use certain designs for, right? And that's why he's saying that is the paper's argument built on an appropriate base of what theory? Is it built on that? And we're going to have some studies on, why we use theories for you to get that sense of understanding of why theories are very fundamental to everything we do. And then it talks about concepts. So concept is a step down toward theories. Concepts are some kind of ideas that has been tested and they have been operationalized. Operationalized means that it has been given a working definition. Over time, if concepts are used, okay, and the relationship that exists within this with these concepts have been established and have been used widely, applied widely, then the concept migrates to become what? A theory. Okay, so that's how it works. Idea starts first, concept, then the concept turns to what? A theory. So there's some sort of studies that we're going to do on that to ground you well, so that when you are doing a study and you pick a particular theory, in your mind, you know what kind of method of data and what kind of design, research design you're going to use. And that design will be driven by a certain method of data analysis. And whether that method of data analysis is that type that doesn't have a lot of what limitations. If you're doing statistics, you want to look for, tools that have very high statistical power and all that. So we're going to look at that as well. And apart from that, the results, it says for results presented clearly and analyzed appropriately. You understand? And that is based on what? How the design is done. The design should get you some tools that you use for analysis. And then the analysis itself that you're doing, have you presented it appropriately and clearly? And if you have done that, do the conclusions adequately tie together with other elements of the paper? Here it's referring to the literature review. Your conclusions, okay, should relate to some element of the paper, i.e., the very top literatures that you reviewed, and also that conclusion should address the objectives of the study. What you set out to do, whether it has been done and whether it has been done well, okay, that should be established. And then implication of the research, practice, and society. This is big. This is very big. Most papers are rejected because it doesn't have any implications for research, practice, and society. And in fact, in research, there's the part that is bulked together as well, or bundled together as was significance of study. Significance of study. In publication, significance of study is moved from the text to the latter part of the paper, and it is given this description that implication for research, practice, and society. Why are we saying that? If you do any paper, the question is, how does this paper advances what research? How does it advance research? How does it add knowledge to the existing body of knowledge? And in which sector? How does it do that? So student can make reference to it, and it can advance a theory, or it can create new theory. Okay, that is the research aspect. Okay, So when we talk about that, it's a theory that you have created. Have you added something new to it? Or have you used the theory to understand other dynamics that has not been studied before? And let me give you an example. I've done some papers with Josephine, and I've done some papers with some guys, Ahmed and others. Now, I'm doing something about bring your own device, okay, BYOD. Now, I realized that there was one I did with one top government official who has passed out from his PhD. And then he said, he's looking at factors affecting the adoption of BYOD, okay, in among employees in Ghana, okay? So that's what he did. And I also did a similar thing, a paper that I'm also assessing factors affecting employees' behavioral intention to adopt BYOD, okay, in the port and maritime sector. So I used this same thing he did and related it to the port and maritime sector. When I was done, I did another paper, the factors affecting workers' behavioral intention to adopt fintech in the port and maritime sector. Now, there's another one I'm doing, factors affecting the adoption of employees' behavioral intention to adopt fintechs, that financial technology in the gas and oil sector. I'm doing another one in the oil, the mining sector, okay? The same topic. What am I doing? I'm relating the theory, that is the UTAT2, okay, theory, and I'm using it to understand what is happening in those sectors, all right? And I'm going to use the same thing to do something in agric. I'll do something in also other sectors, in the utility sector, service sector. I know that in the banking sector, they've done a lot, so I will not go there. I look at sectors that has not been touched and then try to bring something new in that sector. Okay. So what I did with Josephine was technology adoption. Using the customs management system at the port. Customs management system. I checked, there was no paper in that regard. Custom management technology adoption. That's what Josephine is going to present somewhere in September in the US. She's going to go in person to do the presentation. Okay. But we are all part of it. All right. So the implication for the research practice and society is very important. If the question is asked, does the paper identify clearly any implication for the research practice? And then if you don't do this, then forget about the paper you have done. It said, does the paper bridge the gap between theory and practice? Very important. Now, the reason is that it is very important that if we do research, we are able to bridge the gap between theory and practice. There shouldn't be any gap. What is done in theory we should be able to reflect it in what we do in society. In other words, what is being taught at the school, we should see how this thing is implemented in our daily lives. You get it? It should happen that way. And they are these ones, they are very, very strict on it. If what you're saying in theory cannot be, it's not something that can reflect practice, then why are we doing what we are doing? And I have held this position even before I became a researcher. What I believe is that if what you are saying in theory, I cannot implement it in practice, it's a waste of everybody's time. And that's what this paper is saying. Then it says, how can the research be used in practice? And here it said, economic and commercial impact. The economic and commercial economy here is what? Creating revenue for economic activity. Commercial impact. Can somebody implement this? Can somebody create a product or service out of this research? That is very important because, see, what we are doing in this world, it is research that is driving it. Any product you see, it is research. So if your paper is able to do that, then what will happen is that if somebody is coming to, for instance, South Africa to do some investment there, and you have done some paper on fintech adoption in South Africa, and he wants to establish a fintech company, he or she can leverage on this research and take a decision. all right, as to whether to do it or not. If consultants want to consult, they will go to Scopus Index Journal and look for quality papers that have done some studies on that, and buy those papers and use it to prepare a report or a strategic plan, and then tell the people that, Charlie, I have data showing that this trend looks good and all that, so you can invest your $10 million here. Your paper is bringing in $10 million into a country. We did some paper on blockchain adoption, all right? And this paper was published in the one of the Inform, we call it Inform, one of the high top magazines in the US. Now, immediately the paper dropped. Somebody in Dubai, a professor in Dubai, cited this paper and then called one professor who was part of it. So the professor then also called my supervisor, because we did the paper together. And then they quickly said they were going to set up, there's a funding for us to do some feasibility study on how to adopt this blockchain in one of the ports in Dubai. All right, is it Hamid Port or so Hamad Port in Dubai? And that the money that was being allocated for this was $500,000. Unfortunately, COVID came in and the plan changed. It was $500,000. And I was going to be the lead consultant. Just because I produced that, we did that paper together. Okay, so this is very, very important. It said, in teaching, let me take it, how can the research be used in practice? In teaching, to influence public policy in research. And in bracket, it said, contributing to the body of knowledge. That is very, very important. Are you contributing something new? What is the impact upon society, into bracket, influencing public attitude, affecting quality of life? What is your research doing? Are these implications consistent with the findings and conclusions of the paper? Let me tell you, if you do this, if you're able to do this, then it means that it's just game over. Every paper you submit, they are going to take it seriously. And what we will be learning here over this period is even how to write these things. And these things are technical. So how to write. And the quality of communication, does the paper clearly expresses its case measured against the technical language? You see technical language here. Research language is not normal language. Technical language of the field and expected knowledge of the journal's readership. Those who read the journal, the expected knowledge of readership. Has the attention been paid to clarity of expression and readability, such as sentence structure, jargons used, acronyms? All these things are very, very important. For instance, you can't start a journal with acronyms without giving, the meaning of that. Okay, you can't do that. So I would like to stop here and ask for if you have any questions. But this is what we are going to go through, right? That's actually what we are going to go through. If you have anything to say. Hello.
Hello, Doc. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have anything to say? Yeah.
Yeah, from my point, I think from my point, the explanation you gave was very, very clear and detailed. So for me, I'm okay.
Yes. Who else? Hello. Are we really there? I just want to know if we are there. On Zoom, anything can happen. There will be people who will be connected, but might not even hear what we are saying. So, hello?
Yeah, Dr. Boison, we are here.
Yeah, so your comment.
Submissions were clear. Yeah, your submissions were clear. Like,
so it's two things. Either you didn't understand, either you are confused. Either you didn't understand, either because you need to make a comment. You cannot, you cannot say submission is clear. So you need to make a comment. Dada Maria.
Dr. Boison.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
And with the methodology part, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be sure if you're, because you kind of mentioned some things that were too technical for me, like the regression.
No, it's normal.
Multinomial.
Yeah, it's normal.
So I wanted to ask if you are going to take us through that part also.
No, that's why you are here. That's why you are here. No, I mean, if you are getting scared, it's good. It's a good point to start with, okay? Because that will really cause that sense of urgency to want to know, right? Years past, I didn't know all about this. When I was in the port doing IT stuff, and then I thought I was a champion a guy of myself. I knew everything about the port. I took them through ISO, led the team. We did a lot of things. So there's nothing in the port. But when I came to academia, I realized that there was a big gap, right? So I had to painstakingly go through some of these things. And this is self-studies. And that's why I'm saying that if you're getting this direct from me, I expect that you guys should be at the roof. You understand? In terms of the knowledge you will acquire here. Now, and let's also draw your attention that I think that, I mean, most of you would want to take a course or something, and you know the cost of training. Now, I'm saying this for you to know that you find yourself at a privileged position of getting free training and also getting some stipend or allowance for it. Do you get what I'm saying? I want your mics to be live. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Doc, we understand it very well.
Now let your mics be live. Did you guys understand? I appreciate this. You are being trained in a manner that skill set is actually non-existent. Okay. The professors who are even opting for that skill set, they cannot create them, even though we educate people every day. And what I've just said is that you still cannot, as it were, go online and see some of the papers and some of the things we are going to do. I mean, people creating content on it, it is not there. So the question is, how do we do this? Nobody teaches you how to write papers that are scope index with this requirement. Nobody teaches you. So even though they know, there is no method that is used to teach. You get it? They know it's there. I mean, I don't know whether you've seen this thing before. Sometimes your research paper, you go and see the panel, your proposal, and they said, okay, this and your introduction is not that good. You have to, you have not added this, you have not added, and you ask the person, what actually do you want me to do? Can you give me a direct feedback? The person is unable. It's unable. They can criticize, but they cannot tell you what to do. Do you get what I'm saying? They cannot tell you what to do. They cannot specifically tell you this is what you should do. So up until now, we are doing research, but the kind of research we are doing, we are dealing with a situation where people are telling you certain things to do, but they themselves, they don't know how they can guide you to do it. That is what we would want to avoid, and then work as what experts. Do you get it? That's what we really want to avoid and work like experts. Okay. So any other view? Are we good to go?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, we are.
Okay. Now, the other thing is that I just want to draw your attention. Most of us are in academia and we don't know what is happening there. Okay. Now, this is what I sent this thing to Josephine. Now, the 10 top instructors make a net worth of $17 million a year. Did you see that? Are we there? Hello?
Yes, Doc.
Hello,
That's
we are
very,
here.
very interesting.
The statistics is with you, Debbie. So I'll answer your question. What is your share in this? The 10 top instructors, they have created content and they've just left it there. That's how much they are making. Now watch this. Are you seeing what I'm saying?
Yes, Doc.
The online education industry will be worth 309 billion by 2025, 2 years. 2 years, let me say 3 years. So the year is already ended. 2 years from now. The question is, what is your market share? I have operated with a principle that you either drink deep or you do not taste. If it must be done, it must be done well. If you cannot do it, just stop it. Yesterday, I facilitated a program. The Canadian certification, course certification, management something certification. These guys contacted me and they said they wanted me to do this. And I mean, I'm not taking them that much, okay? I think they are young guys, but I opted that they should pay 15,000 Ghana cedis for a month for the program. And they said that no, they are young guys. So when we talk, it came to 5,000 Ghana cedis. So for the 3 months, I'm meeting them, I think four times or online. I'll be in the house and I'll deliver it through. But then more importantly, the content that I will share with them, I'll still use that same content and monetize it and make money off it, out of it. What are they asking us to do? Some, I mean, management, management stuff, okay? And I did the first yesterday and everybody was excited and said that they are expecting the best. Somebody even said that the overview I've given that we have not started is even enough. I said 5. Why? Because I've distinguished myself, right? So this is very, very important. For this statistic that I saw, if me, I don't get my share, I should be able to make $1 billion. Me alone, my share. That's my target. So from now to 2025, what am I doing? What are the things that I'm doing now to leapfrog me to that, I mean, that state? Because for the lecturers that they said, I checked their background, they are not that extraordinary. You get it? They are not. They only work smart. These guys, they create content and they put it there. So we are going to begin this journey. I'm going to create some groups, put you in those groups, and then we start with, I'm going to have this week, there'll be another training. The training, we are actually going into the research methods itself. And then from there, we'll do how to use Mendeley and other softwares. I mean, for basic statistics, I'm going to give you SPSS free for you to install and how to do some basics analysis and all that. These things will be done, but the high-end analysis will come as a result of mastery. Okay, but the point is that some of you will be trained end-to-end, yet you specialize in literature review, others will specialize in data analysis and all that. If there's a tool that you don't understand, we'll research, find out, understand, and then use it. One of the things I'm telling you, I didn't understand all of them at the point in time, but the mind is so powerful that if we set our mind to it, we should be able to do it. You get it? So I'll ask again, how much do you want to earn? So I need an answer. How much do you want to earn a month? How much? You want to be financially free. How much you want to earn a month? And I want to tell you what to do. How much? Hey, even when they're asking you that, right? How much you have to want? That's even the problem. You don't want money. How much do you want to earn? That's also a problem. Hello? Hello? Bishop, you're far away. We can hear you. Your line is breaking. Bishop.
They don't want to disclose that. Please, can you hear me now? Please,
Yeah,
can
go
you hear
ahead.
me?
Yeah.
Yes. What I was saying is that people's expectations.
I'm not asking about people. I'm asking about you, Bishop. If you don't want your expectation, if you don't want people to know your expectation, that is fine. In my mind, I don't know how much you want to earn. Okay? Because how much you want to earn is directly correlated to the effort that you should put in. So if I know how much you want to earn a month, okay, then I'll tell you the number of months or years needed to get to that level. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm asking, how much do you want to earn? Or it has some spiritual distance. Somebody will see and then they'll make sure you will not earn. Or what is it? But how much do you want to earn?
Doc, for me, I would like to earn at least 30,000 cedis a month.
30,000 cedis. That translates to how much dollars? Let's do the division. How much? Divided by 8, huh?
Yes, Doc.
That should be how much?
Divided by 8 should be 3,750.
$3,750. So let's assume you want to earn $4,000 a month. You think that $4,000 a month will make you comfortable? That you can live the kind of life you want to live? So let's say you are starting for 4,000.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Okay. That should be higher than how much I mean CEOs are paid and all that. So $4,000, right? Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
Josephine, how much do you want to earn?
This is a $1 million question.
No, I'm asking these questions because this is a close meeting. I just want to know.
It's a $1 million question.
You don't know how much you want to earn. Huh? So I'm asking. I mean, give me any. Bishop is back. Bishop, how much do you want to earn? Nana? Can we do this quick? Oh, you cannot mention any amount. You're not even sure. Nana, how much do you want to earn?
Dr. Boison, I want to earn $5,000 a month.
$5,000 a month. Good. And then Bishop,
Yes, Doc.
how much? Maybe you, since you're a pastor or software, you don't like too much money. Should I give you some $300 a month?
That did you say $300 a month?
No, sir. Also, you guys don't like money. Or how much do you want to earn?
Then that pastor is not coming from God. There's no pastor who doesn't like money.
Really? So how much are you looking at?
I'm really in a fix. Okay, let's say $10,000.
Okay, $10,000. That is even those who do not want to earn more. They are looking at $10,000 a month. Josephine. Josephine. Hello.
Yeah, Dr. Boyson, I'm here.
Hey, how much do you want to earn? No, is that a problem?
Is that a problem?
I'm surprised. Is that a problem?
Why are you surprised? Why are you surprised?
Oh, you don't know how much you want to earn to live a comfortable life?
Put it at $10,000.
Okay, $10,000. So we have two ladies, 10,000, and then I mean, Bishop is looking at Bishop is looking at 10,000, and then Josephine 10,000, and then Anna 5,000, and then Wache is also looking at maybe 4,000. Okay. Now, if this we want, and keep this in mind, just not just that you said this. If this is what we have in mind, then what is going to happen is that we need at least 2 years, okay, of building competence to be able to earn at least $5,000 and above. That's what we need. Most of the youth are not aware. People have just come out from school and they are unaware that there's a need to build competence. Actually, in my house, that's what I'm doing for my kids, right? That's what I'm doing for my kids. So very soon you'll be seeing that my kids will be areas that they have, like the first one is a mathematician. So we are going to create master class for her. And these things will be uploaded online. So at that age, she's already learning how to sew. She's sewn her first dress at SS1, all right? Because when she finishes school and when she comes on research, she's able to go to a fashion house to learn, okay? Because at the age of 20, she should be able to earn not less than $20,000 a month. And this should come from what she herself has created. Content and all that. Because the world needs content. When you need anything, you go to Google and you type and you search, isn't it? And then it gives you answers. Some people do that work for you. So in research, what we have even quoted are very low figures if we really want to work. Because see, if you become a partner or you have added to a project of a $1 million project to do something for World Bank, And then you, the researchers, are $1 million. All right. Obviously, you are not going to get $10,000 a month if it even is 2 years project. You understand? You should get more than that. You should get more than that. And these are money sitting there waiting for people to unlock. So that's where we are going to. If so, there's anything to pay particular attention to in the next 1 or 2 years, it should be this project. That's what I'm telling you, because this is something that can take you out of poverty straight. So that's what you should be looking for. I don't know whether I've made sense. I thought that I should share some of these things with you so that to let you know where we, we are getting ourselves into. So if you have any questions, you can ask. But for my presentation, I'm done. We are going to create future researchers who have the expertise to do very good scientific research to help industry and academia drive their visions. That is the platform we are creating. That is the platform we are creating for the next 10, 20 years to come. Okay. I believe that, I mean, I could go to extinction. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to die. I mean, anything can happen. So I would want to, I mean, download the knowledge that I have and upload it into you guys, right? So that you can also become who I am today and then become a master when it comes to research, all right? And that is really going to help yourself and your family. So that is what I have to say. And thank you so much.